It's time. It's time. It's time. Today is July the 22nd, 2025, and it is 11:03 a.m. We live, we live, we are live. This is my second live. Make sure y'all check out my Juneteenth live, which was my first live. And the title of this live is The Second Half of This Year is Going to Be Great. The second half of this year is going to be great. The second half of this year is going to be great. It's going to be goated. It's going to be the greatest of all time. With only 4 days left of the first half of this year. It doesn't matter what you went through in January. It doesn't matter what you went through in February. It doesn't matter what you went through in March. It doesn't matter what you went through in April. It doesn't matter what you went through in May. And it doesn't matter what you're going through this month. Come July, it's going to be greater. Come August, it's going to be greater. Come September, it's going to be greater. Come October, it's going to be greater. Come November, it's going to be greater. And come December, it's going to be greater. Now, as I reflect on the first 6 months of this year, first and foremost, I was grateful to see January the 1st, 2025, because a lot of people didn't make it. February, I'm grateful that my Philadelphia Eagles, let me turn it around, won the Super Bowl. February was a very short month. I'm grateful that I was able to enjoy my favorite season in March, which is the start of the spring. April, I'm grateful for the channel receiving its first 1K video, which was Success Alert number 32. In May, I was grateful to be able to turn 35 years old. And in June, I'm grateful to be able to do my first live, because up until that point, I've done everything on YouTube. I've done videos and I've done shorts. And on Juneteenth, I was able to do my first live, and this being my second live. So I'm just grateful for everything that I've accomplished up until this point. And I'm going to continue to operate in a sense of gratitude. And I'm going to continue to operate in a sense of positivity. Now, on the flip side of that coin, from January up until now, I've operated in my weak self. And the one thing that I have to do as this first half of this year closes and the second half of this year begins is to accept myself, respect myself, like myself, and love myself. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Accept yourself, respect yourself, like yourself, and love yourself, because There's only one you. There's only one you. The second half of the year is about to begin on Tuesday. And it's going to be greater. It's going to be greater. And I want to talk about respect for a little bit. Respect, it starts with you. You got to hold yourself to a standard, and then you'll naturally hold other people to a standard. I can't talk about it enough. And for the past 6 months, yes, I've had accomplishments. Yes, I'm grateful for those accomplishments. But I'm still operating my weak self. And that's another video, and that's another live for another day as far as the details. Let me ask you a question. Are you operating in your lower self? Are you living up to your full potential? Every decision you make, are you making it from a position of strength and not a position of weakness? I can say for me that I'm always a work in progress. There'll never be a time where I'm not a work in progress. I acknowledge where I am and I work toward where I want to be, and I keep working. It's time for me to respect myself, hold myself to a strict standard, and live by that standard. It's time for you to do the same. Okay? And I feel led to talk to both men and women about respect. I'm going to start with the women first. If you're a woman out there and you want respect, you must carry yourself with respect and be around women of respect, that are worthy of respect. Women that know how to stay in a woman's place. Okay? Don't look up to women that are not classy. Don't look up to women that don't carry themselves with respect, that don't carry themselves within their femininity. Okay? Stop following these celebrities, these female celebrities. Stop listening to these female celebrities that's putting out nothing but trash and garbage. You get what I'm saying? Get under a worthy woman of respect. Get under a woman that's classy. Get under a woman that has a pedigree of success. Okay? And that's the biggest problem with the younger women now, is because you got the older women competing with the younger women. You got the older women that don't want to hang up their jersey. And because they don't want to hang up their jersey, how are the younger women going to, take the baton if there's no baton that's being passed to them? There's no example. You can't tell the difference between an older woman and a younger woman because they dressed alike. They acting alike. Now, I'm not saying just because you're an older woman you gotta dress like an old lady, but there should be a difference between a younger woman and an older woman in appearance, in aura, and demeanor. There should be a difference. Okay? So I encourage the younger women to get under a woman that's classy and not trashy. Get under a woman that's of respect. Get under a woman that's polished. Okay? And this is my biggest thing with some women, man. I just never could understand, how can you take advice from someone that's not successful? You listen to somebody that don't successfully have a man. That don't successfully have a man. And if she did successfully have a man, that man will speak highly of her. I just never understood that. I could never understand how a woman can listen to a woman that's not successful. Because, like Kevin Samuel said, single women want to keep other women single. Okay? So I encourage the younger women, get under older women that's of respect. They're out there. They're out there. You know. For the older women, take your place. Take your place as the example, the teachers, the molders to the younger women. You had your time when you was young. You had that time. Not saying you can't have fun. Not saying you got to, retire to a nursing home. But it's time for you to retire that jersey and take your place as the examples for the younger ones. You know? And that way we'll have real women in society. You know? And one of the biggest problems is the whole cycle of babies having babies. You know? But that's another topic for another live and another day. Now to the men. Get under a man that's of respect. Get under a man that's masculine. Get under a man that's successful within his masculinity. And that's another one of the biggest problems, which I just talked about. Babies having babies. I'm grateful for my father, and I'm grateful for my grandfather. I'm blessed. Because if I didn't have them two, I don't know where I would be. Okay? Don't be a male. Strive to be a man. Your respect from other men is what makes you a man. You keeping your word is what makes you a man. And how you handle adversity is how you become a man. Not how much jewelry you got on. The appearance means nothing. It's all about the inner man. Okay? Terrence Howard said the best. Don't be the guy in the room, be the man in the room. Are you a male or are you a man? Are you 100% man or you 100% boy? It's that simple. Because no woman is going to respect a man that no men respect. No woman is going to respect a man that don't keep his word. No woman is going to respect a man that can't overcome adversity. True swagger is under pressure. True swagger is finding a way to win in any situation. Yeah, you had the swagger when you met the person. You had the swagger when you took them out. But when the adversity came, did you have the swagger? When the challenges came, did you have the swagger? When the baby was on his way, did you have the swagger? The swagger was gone when adversity came. The swagger was gone when the baby came. The swagger was gone when the rent needed to be paid. When the bills piled up, where was the swagger then? True swagger is under pressure. True swagger is under fire. True swagger is always finding a way to win. Because as a man, you always have to deliver. You always have to be competent, no matter what. The second half of this year is going to be greater. It's going to be greater. It's going to be greater. Look like it's starting to rain, but you're still going to keep going unless it starts pouring down. Okay. But reflect on the first half of this year, because it went fast, and these next 6 months going to go even faster. Because fall is coming and winter is around the corner. Actually, this rain kind of feel good because we had desert weather for the last 2 weeks. We had a heat wave in Philly. So this weather feels kind of good. But back to what I was saying, whether you male or female, take your place. Take your place. Live life respectfully. Iron sharpens iron and steel sharpens steel. Be around people that's going to sharpen and strengthen you. Don't get too caught up. Don't get caught up on what society is telling you. Be who you are. Be who you need to be. Be who you want to be. Second half of this year going to be greater. It's going to be greater. Because I'm going to hold myself to a standard. You're going to hold yourself to a standard. It's going to be greater. Second half of this year is going to definitely be greater. It's going to be golden. It's going to be the greatest of all time. I'm here to tell you, as long as you don't quit, as long as you don't give up, there's always hope. Stay hopeful. Stay optimistic. Because when it's all said and done, you're going to be the victor because you didn't give up. You're going to have your hands raised like this. We get ready to go into the second half of this year, and it's going to be greater. It's going to be so much greater. It's going to be golden. And come January 1st, 2026, you're going to have your hands raised. I'm going to have my hands raised. Because I'm the GOAT. I'm the GOAT. I'm the GOAT. I'm the greatest of all time. I'm the greatest of all time. I'm the greatest of all time in my life. Because there's only one me. There's only one you. Okay? There's only one me. There's only one you. You have no choice but to be yourself. You have no choice but to grow into the person that you need to be for you. You don't have a choice. Be yourself. Just move into the person that you want to be. Don't try to be nobody else. The second half of this year is going to be greater. We got 4th of July coming up. Okay. We got Memorial Day coming up. I think Memorial Day passed, my fault. We got the 4th of July coming up, and we got Labor Day coming up. Before you know it, we be back in the fall. Enjoy yourself, have fun, but continue to work on yourself. You know, every day is a day to get better. Every day is a day to get stronger. Every day is a day to get wiser. Okay? The second half of this year is going to be greater. The second half of this year is going to be great. It's going to be so great. It's going to be great. I feel good, even though it's raining, because I know that the second half of this year is going to be great. It's going to be golden. It's going to be the greatest of all time. Because I believe it and you believe it. Reflect on the first half of this year. Okay? You might have some negatives in there. You might have some positives in there. Reflect, but don't stay in the reflection. Build a momentum to go into the second half of this year. I was going to do this live where I did my first live, but there were people in my spot. I got frustrated, you know, I started, thinking negative. I was going to wait until Sunday to do it, but I started telling myself the next live going to be better. I'm going to find a better spot. And look at me, I'm sitting, in a park on a bench, and I'm even more comfortable than I was when I did my first live. You know? But the main thing that I want to talk about in this particular live, which is the second half of the year is going to be great, is, like I said, respect. Every decision you make is a representation of the respect that you have for yourself or the respect that you don't have for yourself. How do you respect yourself? You accept yourself for who you are. You accept the good You accept the bad, and you accept the ugly of you. And you only speak positive to yourself. You only think positive to yourself. And then from there, you set goals. And as you achieve your goals, you're developing your self improvement. You're bettering yourself. That's going to grow your respect as well. Okay. And the main thing, and the main tool of respecting yourself, and this is crucial, is never speaking negative to yourself. Always speak positive to yourself no matter what, and stay away from anybody that's negative. Or if they say something negative, you counter it with a positive. You Floyd Mayweather them with a positive. Or if you hear any negativity, you remove yourself. You can't afford to have that on you the second half of the year. This is one of my biggest problems for me. My biggest problem, first half of this year. Number one, talking too much. God gave me and God gave you 2 ears and 2 eyes and 1 mouth for a reason. It takes more energy and more effort to talk than it is to listen and to observe. It takes more effort and energy to talk than to observe and listen. It takes more effort to talk and more energy to talk than to observe and listen. One of the 48 laws of power: always say less than necessary. Always say less than necessary. Always say less than necessary. Because once it's out of my mouth, once it's out of your mouth, you can't take it back. Okay? When you observe, you don't necessarily have to be directly in front of the person. You watch that person from a distance. You watch your surroundings from a distance. And you're able to really tap into what you see is what you get. You get to see people for who they really are because you're observing them when they don't know you're observing them. And then listening. Okay, you're able to hear certain things that some people probably didn't want you to hear or they wanted you to hear. Okay? You're able to make decisions. You'll be able to learn people by listening to them. Turn this off. Turn these on and turn these on. And you'll be able to discern people. You'll be able to discern situations. Okay? One of my biggest problems first half of this year, talking too much, gossiping too much. I have to make a decision, okay? If it don't have nothing to do with me, I could care less. If I'm going to say something, I'm going to say something positive. As I go into the second half of this year, as you go into the second half of this year, Don't get caught up in the gossip. It doesn't matter if it's at the workplace. It doesn't matter if it's when you're out and about. It doesn't matter when you're around family. Okay? Don't get caught up in the gossip. Don't get caught up in it. Don't get caught up in it. Even listening, okay, you're in it. And for me, when I'm listening to gossip, it drains me. Because 9 times out of 10, you're talking negative about a person. And I'm not afraid to say this, and I could care less. It's mainly females. It's mainly females. Me personally, I have to learn to not talk about people behind their back. I have to learn to speak positive of people. Because when I give out positivity, I get positivity back. This is something I have to learn. Negativity only breeds more negativity. I have to learn to move in silence. I have to learn to be strategic. I have to learn to be secretive. I have to learn to be tactical. This is something that I have to learn. And I'm going to learn it and I'm going to master it within the next 6 months of this year. I'm going to stop operating in my weak self. I'm going to stop disrespecting myself. I'm going to hold myself to a standard. I'm going to develop discipline as a man. I'm going to be a man and not a male. I'm going to be 100% man and not 100% boy. Okay? I'm excited. The second half of this year is going to be great. The second half of this year is going to be great. The second half of this year is going to be great. It's going to be great for me. It's going to be great for you. Like I said, I don't care what you went through in January. I don't care what you went through in February. I don't care what you went through in March. I don't care what you went through in April. I don't care what you went through in May. And I don't care what you went through in June. The second half of this year is going to be the greatest part of your year. Okay? You know why? You're going to make the adjustments. You're going to make the tough decisions. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're going to start respecting yourself. You're going to start holding yourself to a higher standard. Okay? You're going to start doing that. Because to do the same thing is the definition of insanity. To do the same thing is the definition of insanity. To keep doing the same thing is the definition of insanity. Make the adjustments. Be tactical. Make those moves in the moment. Okay? You know? Make those moves. Make those moves in the moment. Man. Make those moves in the moment, sir. Make those moves in the moment, ma'am. Make those moves in the moment, woman. The number one strongest negative destructor, my opinion, is complaining. The number one negative destructor is complaining. The number one negative destructor is complaining. In my life, every time I complained, it only made things worse. It only made things worse. It didn't make things better, it made things worse. The second powerful negative disruptor, making excuses. When you make excuses, you hold yourself back from greatness. You hold yourself back. It's because of this I can't do it. It's because of that I can't do it. I'm too tall. I'm too short. I'm too fat. I'm too skinny. Former NBA player Muggsy was one of the shortest players in the NBA. He was able to play in the NBA. Look him up. Muggsy was in Space Jam. I didn't realize he was short until I grew up. Look up Muggsy. One of the shortest persons in NBA history. And he was able to compete in the NBA. He didn't make no excuses. He didn't complain. He didn't exercise the third and final negative destructor, which is I can't, using the word can't. He was able to compete in elementary school, middle school, high school, and then college, and then the NBA. As somebody that was not even an average height for the NBA, but way below the height in the NBA. Shout out to Muggsy. He played with Stephen Curry's father on the Hornets. He's known for being on the Hornets, and he's known for being in Space Jam. Okay? No more complaining. No more excuses. And the word can't don't exist. Check out that video. That's one of my older videos. The word can't don't exist. Okay? And whatever insecurities that you might have, that's something you have to work on. Anytime that I'm insecure, or I'm dealing with insecurity, it always was a reflection of what I wasn't doing. It always was a reflection on what I wasn't doing. Shout out to Country Taco ×2. Have a great day. Happy Friday. Same to you. Same to you. Same to you. And thank you for tuning in. Okay. The second half of this year is gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's definitely gonna be great. Okay. But back to what I was saying. Any insecurities that you might have, any insecurities that you have, that's something that you have to work on, because your insecurities are what's in your mind, what you believe. That's something you have to work on. Nobody can work on your insecurities but you. I'm gonna bring up relationships. Okay. If you're not confident or self-assured in yourself, that's when insecurity creeps in. When you're insecure, you only see what you see. And it might not necessarily be what the situation is. If you're a man, you see your woman talking to another man because you might be insecure, you might think it's cheating. And vice versa. If a woman sees her man talking to another woman, she might think it's cheating. But that might not necessarily be cheating. It's what's in your mind. But if you're confident in who you are, okay? If you're confident in who you are as a man, as a woman, it is what it is. Because if a person is going to cheat on you, they're going to do it. And it ain't nothing you can do to stop them. You can sit here and see invisible stuff if you want. But if they going to do it, they going to do it. If you going to do it, you going to do it. Okay? And the best way to neutralize insecurity is to have respect for yourself, to continuously work on yourself through self-improvement. That will increase your confidence as a man or as a woman. Okay? That's the only way. There is no other way. Okay? There is no other way. Excuse me for 1 second. There is no other way. You know? Whatever situation or circumstances that you're going through in your particular life, okay? Whatever insecurities you might have in your life, that's on you. That's something you have to work on. And you neutralize it. Okay, you neutralize it by respecting yourself, holding yourself to a standard. You have to hold yourself to a standard in life. That's respect. Certain things you're going to do, certain things you're not going to do, certain things you're going to tolerate, certain things you're not going to tolerate. And everybody is different. Some people have certain tolerances and some people don't. You say something to one person, they'll let it slide. You say something to another person, they'll punch you right in your face. This is why you have to give people that respect. And this is why you have to be others minded. Okay? Always be others minded. Always be sensitive to people. Everybody has different sensitivity levels. Okay? But when you insecure, you're weak-minded. You know, you're not confident in yourself. You're not assured of yourself. Okay? We've all been there. I've been there. I still have insecurities that I'm working on, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I put my hand right up. I'm not afraid to admit it. But I'm not going to allow my insecurities to defeat me. I'm going to defeat my insecurities because I'm the GOAT. I'm the greatest of all time. Okay? In my life, you're the GOAT. You're the greatest of all time in your life. Okay? And don't let nobody tell you different. The second half of this year is going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be golden. Okay? You got to believe it. You got to visualize it. You got to affirm it, and then you're going to manifest it. The second half of this year is going to be great. Okay? It's still raining. It's still coming down. And it feels good. You know, if the rain feel good, You know, I had to put my hood on a couple times, but it felt good. The rain felt good. I'm in this beautiful park. Okay? Stay positive. Okay? No negativity policy. No complaining policy. That C word don't exist. There's nothing that you cannot do. Put your mind to it. There's nothing wrong with you. You're fine just the way you are. God made you in his image. Okay? There's nothing wrong with you. You're fine. The second half of the year is going to be great for you. You'll see. You'll see. Accept yourself. Respect yourself. Love yourself. You're brilliant. You're beautiful. You're successful. People enjoy being around you. People enjoy your presence. People enjoy your energy. Okay? Happy Friday to everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to everybody. And that's pretty much it. You know, that's pretty much the gist of the live. I wanted to just talk about, you know, the second half of this year that's coming. And it's going to be great. I wanted to talk about respect. You know, I wanted to talk about insecurity. I wanted to talk about, you know, different things that was on my mind at this particular time. You know, and one thing I will say, you know, I'm at a point in my life, 35 years old. I thank God for blessing me to see 35 years. I want to give a moment of silence for a guy that I went to high school with that passed away right after we graduated in 2009. Moment of silence for Raheem Bennett. Rest in peace, Raheem Bennett. Rest in peace, Raheem Bennett. Rest in peace, Raheem Bennett, who was definitely a Eagles buff. Super Bowl champions. Super Bowl champions. Super Bowl champions, Raheem. He was a Brian Dawkins buff. You know. But he's no longer with us. He passed away in 2009. And I want to say rest in peace to him. I want to also say rest in peace to my grandfather, Charles Polite. I learned a lot from him, and everything that he taught me, you know, I'm going to use for the rest of my life. And I want to give a shout out to my family, my church family, everybody that has contributed in my life in one way, shape, or form. You know, I want to thank YouTubers who I'm subscribed to, YouTubers who I looked up to, and I'm finally here. I'm finally here. I'm finally doing lives, you know, and I'm just grateful. You know, I'm grateful that I'm finally at this point, you know, after consuming other people's content, after, you know, being a part of other people's lives. Now I'm on the other end doing my own life. And it, like I said, it's been a journey. It's definitely been a journey, and we won't stop. Can't stop and we won't stop. You know, that's the words of P. Diddy. You know, and we're gonna keep going, you know. And I'm gonna give my brief opinion on the whole Diddy case as I wrap up. I'm gonna sit right here. I've done videos in this spot, but I'm gonna give my brief little opinion on this Diddy situation I believe that it was never really about, him getting incarcerated. I think it was more so about, you know, getting the footage from his house of certain celebrities caught with their pants down. And I think they made a case out of it to pretty much smooth it out. Now, do I think that P. Diddy is innocent or guilty? I'm going to say this. I think that, and this is the famous quote from Training Day, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Denzel Washington's character of Alonzo Harris. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And they have to, regardless of whether he did it or whether he didn't do it, it has to be proven. I am a firm believer in innocent until proven guilty. So my answer is Diddy is innocent until proven guilty, whether he did it or not. I think objectively. I don't wear my emotions on my sleeves. I think objectively. I look at the chessboard. And to be typically honest, if it really don't have nothing to do with me, I really don't care. But what made me bring it up was what I said was I can't stop and I won't stop, which was his 90s quote. And I'm going to say this about Diddy too. You can't take away from him what he achieved. You can't take his success away from him. You can say whatever you want to say about him personally. And, my thing is about the victims. It has to be proven. It has to be proven. And I think that, you have to know what you're signing up for when you decide to deal with people of a certain ilk. That don't give them the right to abuse you. They don't give them the right to take advantage of you. But you have to do your part in exercising good judgment and making good decisions. That goes for male and female. I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I know that a person can take advantage of me. I'm going to always make decisions from a position of strength. I'm not going to make decisions from a position of weakness. And sometimes, just because you turn 18, you have to be very careful on what decisions you make. So when you turn 18, so when you turn 21, you think you know everything. I was there. But I'm happy that I listened. I listened. Because my mentality was, this is one thing that an older person will always have on you. They've been your age. You've never been their age. They've been where you are. They never been where you are. That's one thing an older person will always have for you. So it will behoove you to listen to them. Okay? I'm happy I listened to my father. I'm happy I listened to my grandfather. I'm happy. Because they've been my age. I've never been their age. Okay? And when I got to a certain age, like I said, once my grandfather passed, I started to see a lot of things that he taught me. I'm grateful for my father that's still alive. He'll be 64 on Monday. Happy future birthday, Dad. Okay? But the main thing about this whole Diddy situation is accountability and responsibility. And I believe in society, women are not held accountable the same way men are held accountable. And I'm going to say this, and I'm just going to speak my mind. Men and women are not equal. We are not equal. We're different. We're different. And if you want to make women equal to men, and it has to be in everything. You can't pick over here, we're going to be equal over here, but we're not going to be equal over here. And we might be equal there. No. Either 100% equality or no equality. That's just how I look at the situation. You know, a woman has to take full responsibility for her judgment and decisions that she makes. Anything that's within your control as a woman is your responsibility and your accountability. It's just that simple. If you could have prevented it yourself, it's your fault. If you couldn't prevent it, it's not your fault. You know? And that's how I look at the situation. Accountability. As men, we're accountable no matter what. Women are not held accountable. And this is why we have cases like this. Not saying that he's guilty, not saying that he's innocent. It has to be proven. Anytime you could just accuse somebody and put their freedom in jeopardy without any proof, it's wrong. I don't care what it is. It's wrong. You know, it's wrong. Let me get my bag. It's wrong. Yeah, we live. You know, we live. I think there needs to be accountability on both ends. Men need to be held accountable for their actions 100%, and women need to be held accountable for their actions 100%. You know? And I'm not, you know, it is what it is. This is my opinion. I have the right to my opinion. You know, I could care less whether people agree with me. I could care less if they don't agree with me. I'm going to speak my mind. Women need to be held accountable. It's just that simple. Anytime somebody gets accused of something where their freedom is at jeopardy, you have to take that in consideration. You know? But as I wrap up, you know, as I wrap up, the second half of this year is going to be greater. It's going to be golden. It's going to be the greatest of all time. The second half of this year is going to be great. The second half of this year is going to be great. The second half of the year is going to be great for me. It's going to be great for you. Because I'm going to start to respect myself. I'm going to accept myself. I'm going to love myself. Okay? And you're going to do the same. Because you're brilliant. You're special. You're different. You're extraordinary. You're beautiful. Just the way you are. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. And start building momentum now as we end the first half of this year and we cross over into the second half of this year. And always remember, life is a game of chess and every move counts. Know the board, know the pieces, win the game. We out, we out, we out. Thank you for tuning in to my second live. Thank you for tuning in to my second live Thank you for tuning in to my second live. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your week. The second half of this year is going to be great.